Well, how are you feeling? Touch of nerves?
For what's happening, like?
Not much.
No, we're just excited. We're excited to get back on the grass. It feels like a while since we went to Vicarage Road. But yeah, the team's in good spirits, and we can't wait to get the game played on Sunday.
Has it been a frustrating few weeks because you've not been playing, and Palace obviously played the other weekend, and no doubt you had a close eye on that one?
I think for the staff and the players that have remained on site, it feels long since we've last played. We've obviously had players who've gone away and represented their country on international duty, so it's probably broke that gap up nicely for them. But yeah, it's we watched the results come in last week, and the picture stays the same, so we know what we have to do.
We spoke at the beginning of the season about your winning run, and the dynamic has completely changed, hasn't it? The pressure at the beginning of the season wasn't there in one sense. Now you've got to win the 2 games, and the pressure is there. How do you deal with that?
I think the pressure's a privilege. People now expect us to go on and win 2 games, and that we've put ourselves in that position, and we like the feel of it. This is where we want to be, and all we have to do is go and put in a good performance and get a positive result twice, and then we've done it. And it's sometimes easier said than done, we know that, but we're quite relaxed about the position that we're in, and I think there's just a buzz about the whole building, to be honest. There's lots of people inside, and everyone inside the building who's really excited for the women's team and maybe what we can achieve.
And is it very much a case of just forget about Palace for the moment, just entirely focus on this Sunday and get that one out of the way?
Yeah, it's all eyes on Charlton. We know we can't slip up, or that might be it done, so we're not speaking about Palace, we're not looking at Palace. The full focus for the last 3 weeks has been Charlton.
You're in a position as well where the men's team has got really nothing to play for in terms of where they sort of finish in terms of relegation and promotion. You are in the building, you've got the chance to achieve something this season. Yeah,
and that's what we want to play football for. We want to win games, and we've built an unbelievable squad this season, which is on the verge of doing something really special, and the players want to get the job done. We're not in a title promotion race just to make the numbers up. We're here on merit, and we want to go and win it.
Newcastle got promoted to the Championship last weekend. Is there part of you who'd love to play them next season? But of course, to do that, you'd have to not go up. So what would you rather have? Would you rather win the cup or the league question in a way?
I think I'd rather be in the WSL. It's been 6 years since we've been there, and that has always been the target of mine to get the club back into the top flight, and that's what we're trying to do.
Well, good luck.
Thank you.
Do you feel that the squad's comfortable with where they are and what's ahead of them?
I think they're really comfortable. Whether they just put on a good front or not, I do not know, but they're fully focused and excited for the challenge, and we've had a long time to prepare for the game, and they've had a couple of days off after Watford, but they've been in ever since, and they've worked really hard to keep themselves ticking over, and we've got some really good information into them in terms of how we want to play and how we want them to execute the plan, so hopefully they can go and do that on Sunday.
Taking the games one at a time as you have to, what do you expect the challenges on Sunday?
I think we're a very similar team to Charlton. They've got an abundance of talent in their squad there. They've conceded the same amount of goals as us. They've scored pretty much the same amount of goals as us. It's going to be a tight game. There's not going to be much in it, and it's about winning your individual battle on the pitch. And if we can do that, then we'll get a good result.
It's a phenomenal situation that it's worked out as, obviously, with your fixtures and knowing what you need to do and everything like that. Do you pinch yourself sometimes that it's actually worked out in this way?
I don't pinch myself, but I think it's exciting. It's exciting for all the externals looking in, and we can't think too far ahead. We have to make sure that we don't slip up against Charlton. We have to get the job done, and that's the message to the players. But for the wider circle of football, it's exciting. hopefully it does come down to that one game, because what a showcase for the Women's Championship.
Hi Mel, how would you describe this situation? Because it's probably the most dramatic league finish anywhere in the country, isn't it? With 4 teams who could in theory still do it, and you're playing 2 of them the last 2 games.
I think that's why we play football, isn't it? It's exciting. It's why everyone loves the sport. And like I said, if it goes down to the wire, then what an exciting story for the championship. I think it'll be tougher again next year. It's certainly been tougher this year than what it was last year, and it's an exciting and challenging league to be part of.
And expecting a pretty big crowd, one of the biggest of the season probably this weekend. How much can that help you if you can get a really good turnout?
I think it's really important. The atmosphere over the last couple of weeks has been fantastic at Ebbleton, and we know these London teams don't like coming up north. We need the atmosphere to be loud. We need all the Sunderland fans to fill the ground and really cheer on the players, because we play well in front of a big crowd. The players want to put on a good show, and hopefully they can get right behind her.
And Grace McCarthy announced that she's retiring at the end of the season. Just a few words from you on her and what she's achieved here and what she's done for the club.
Yeah, we've had a couple of conversations with Grace over the last couple of weeks, and like I said in the press release, like an absolute role model for the football club. And I remember when we got demoted from the Super League, I had the disappointment of being relegated 2 divisions and losing almost a full team, and tasked with bringing development team players into the first team. And I remember taking a phone call from Grace, and she wanted to come, and she believed in the vision. The vision was to get back to the Super League, and 6 years later we're on the verge of doing that. And what a way for Grace to bow out our career if we can win the next 2 games, and a little bit of added incentive for the squad to do it for her as well. But a true role model, being a great leader, has helped pave the way for the youngsters in the squad. The young players who probably weren't even born when Grace started to play football, but she's paved the way for them to get full-time contracts in the future. And she's been a massive part of the women's game, and we wish her well in her retirement.
You mentioned it there, the players probably don't need any extra motivation, but do you think that will be a bit of an added incentive, because it would be incredible for Grace to go full circle and leave the club potentially in the season? Yeah,
she announced it to no one knew, but we announced it the other day to the players in here, and there wasn't a dry eye in the house. It was a really emotional speech that Grace delivered to the team, and our message was like, can we win the next 2 games, because she wants to bow out as a champion, and that was the vision 6 years ago, for her to come in and get the club back to where it was. So it'll certainly be getting mentioned on Sunday as that added motivation for the team.
You mentioned your Super League ambition there. Obviously it's not quite as straightforward as just winning 2 games. Obviously the club have got to sort of back that up as well, and there's a lot goes into that. What is the situation with that? Are you confident the club will back that, and what's the actual kind of like time frame? How does that work?
I think so. I've heard all the right things that I need to hear, but my full concentration has to be on the team and on the next 2 games, because ultimately if we don't win them, then the application and all the meetings that need to take place are irrelevant. So all eyes on the grass for me, and making sure the team's prepared.
I'd imagine the message before a game like this is it's just another game for yourself, but it must feel different.
It does, but I think that's been the message for the last couple of games as well. It was the same message of when we went to Vicarage Road, and it was a cagey first 45 minutes against Watford, but once we scored we kind of grew in stature and really kicked on, and there was only going to be one winner after we scored. So we know we have to manage moments in the game, and it's the same for both sides. Charlton want to win the league as well, so we just have to prepare the team as normal and manage the players. There'll be nerves there, of course there will, but that's a good thing. It shows the players care, and we just have to kind of hit the ground running from the off and make sure we grow into the game quickly.
What would winning the title and going up mean for the club and for the city?
I think it's huge. I think it's it's where the club wants to be, it's where the club was, and it's a fantastic opportunity for the young players in the pathway to have an exit route into the top flight of the game. It'll showcase the club and in a bigger light in terms of the coverage that the women's game now receives. On you'd have a game on, a couple of games on Sky Sports potentially every other month, and potentially attracting bigger crowds and playing at bigger stadiums, and it would be huge for the area, and that's the ambition. Whether it happens this season or in the near future, that's where we want to be.